Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. But before I even say anything, look, it's just giving pink ice princess. It's giving me rhinestone babe. Like it's just giving what's supposed to give. Let me show you exactly how I did this real quick. Finally starting off with the brows today. I'm just sweeping the brow hairs in the position I want them to be in. Then I go in with the Morphe pencil and the brow pencil Java and outlining it first. I start from the bottom of the brow, then I outline from the top of the brow, just like that. And she already has full hairs, so what I do is basically just, well, I do this with anybody, but you saw me outlining the top and bottom, and then I just sweep the product into the brow to see how I like it. I don't like it too boxy. I don't like it to waste product, so I want to make sure that I'm sweeping or brushing all the product into the brow hairs before I even add any more, to see if I need to add any more. But with hers, I really didn't have to do that because she already had like a lot of hairs. So yeah, I'm just filling in like the little gaps that I see, whatever. But as far as anything, yeah, I really keep my brows as natural to glam looking as possible. So I already moisturized her face. That's why her face look a little bit shiny with the Pond's moisturizing cream, and prepping her eyelid and her forehead with the PHILLIPS Milk of Magnesia. Then I conceal the bottom of her brow with the Tarte concealer in Deep Honey, and just dragging that product down and just patting it into the lid so that I can make sure that it's not moving around or it's not wet. You don't want your concealer or your base wet at all. It's not gonna apply the shadow. It's not even gonna adhere to the shadow correctly. So that's why I'm patting it out with my expert Real Techniques concealer brush. Doing the same thing at the top as far as concealing, but instead I'm gonna be using a darker color from the Tarte Shape Tape collection in Rich with my Bedazzling Tools 936 brush. And with this type, I always tell anybody, like my students, if you come to me for a personal class, to always take your time with the brows. Like the brows are really important. It honestly shapes the whole entire face. So I don't want you rushing with the brows unless you know what you're doing, unless you're an expert. I don't recommend you rushing with your brows. So I don't even care how long you take. And that's why I kind of slowed this video or this part down. Because yeah, it's just a tedious process, really, especially if you want it to look seamless and undetectable and everything like that. Today I'll be priming her lids with the P. Louise base in Rumor 1 and applying that with the same brush that I used to apply the concealer. I didn't really want this too white, but I just wanted it white, so I really didn't care if some of the Tarte mixed with the Rumor base 1 base. Then blending it out, starting with the edges first and working my way into the eyelid. And this is what helps me create that seamless blend, so the base is not detectable and it just blends right into the concealer. And if you feel like it's still wet, don't go in with a beauty blender, go in with the Real Techniques setting brush. It's the same exact brush material as this one that I'm using, so just go in there with that. It's a bigger brush, so it just hits everything faster than of course the little brush would. You already know the vibes. I'm always going in with this palette, honestly, and today I'll be using the Glazed Donut color with my Morphe M504 brush. And putting this right into the crease, honestly, like this, oh my god. With my pink looks, I like going in with like a reddish type of brown. This is like a red brown, but more on the red side, so I really love doing this as far as my transition colors for my pink looks. Then going in with the Morphe M503 brush with Girl Bye, which is I feel like it's a plum color or a brown with like a plum undertone. Yes, so these two combinations of colors really like stand out to me when I'm creating my pink looks, my purple looks, looks in that color zone. And going back in with Glazed Donut with the M504 brush, just in case we lost it a little bit, and just to blend it out more seamlessly so it's undetectable and you can't even tell the difference between, well, you can't see the harsh separation between the Glazed Donut and Girl Bye. Cutting the crease with the P. Louise base in 0. This is a pure white base, pure white base. The one we used earlier, it was white, but it had a bit of color in it. This one is just purely white with my Beryllium Tools 936 brush. I'm just cutting this crease. As you can see, when I cut my creases, I basically go in like a circular, like I'm aiming for the semicircle shape. Honestly, aiming for the semicircle shape. I wicker her eyes, so you see me pulling her eyes up or pulling her brows up to extend the eyelid space, and then I pull it down to see what it looks like in real life, and then I just keep alternating like that, and that's basically how I get my cut creases. So patting the base out with the same Expert concealer brush we used earlier, and today we'll be using the Morphe 39S Artistry palette in the color that I indicated over there. These really don't have color shades, so I'm just going to show you guys on the palette, either on the screen or like in the bottom left of what color I'm actually using. And I'm applying that color with the Morphe M433 brush. Going in with the pinker color for the outer part of the lid and just placing that right on the outer corner of her cut crease. Yes, you see that blend? Like, oh my god, yo, this is crazy. These brushes, or the M433 brush, is so great to apply colors on the lid, like pat colors on the lid. I don't recommend you using a flat brush. Flat brushes create like splotches and it just looks too patchy, so that's why I recommend building your color up with a fluffy brush. Now, when you see me using the flat brush here, I'm going on the edges. When I use a fluffy brush, I don't touch the cut crease, like the top of the cut crease, because the brush is not precise and I could easily like mess up. So that's why I do everything on the main region of the cut crease, and then I go in with the edges alone with the flat brush. Using this purple color over here and further giving the outer part of her crease some depth. Look at this. I'm just applying this with my M503 brush. Oh my god, like you see how that just created, like, yo, that's colors make so much of a difference. Makeup is just so crazy. It could just take a look from bleh to boom. For a pink purple iridescent, I'm going to be using my J. LaRue pigment in the color Sizzler and applying this with the flat brush. I don't really like applying this with the fluffy brush because I don't want it to get everywhere. At least right now with the cut crease, I recommend you applying it with a flat precise brush. Then I'm going in with the J. LaRue and Cotton Candy that matches the second color that we put on the lid. Just wanted to add a little bit more sparkle, and I just like the fact that it was the same exact color. It's just a loose pigment. So yeah. And using one of the techniques I like to use to make my eyes pop more, I'm going in with the white color and the Artistry palette that we used earlier, and just packing this on with my M506 brush. Then I went right on top of that with the white gold pigment from J. LaRue Cosmetics. Yes, like you see that? Oh my god, like, and don't worry if you lose it during the foundation process. You could easily reapply it once you're all done as far as the lashes and everything like that. So yeah, don't worry about that. I'm doing a full liner today with the NYX Cosmetics liner in matte black. Yes, I hope this was slow enough for you. I finally got good footage, or decent footage, of me doing liner. I'm gonna put a video out there of me solely doing liner alone, so close up, and like a video dedicated to eyeliner, so just stay tuned for that. But yeah. So when I put on liner, I tend to, well, I always conceal the bottom of the liner first. And I also added the NYX Cosmetics pink liner on top of the black liner off camera. So yeah, that's why you see the concealer under her eye like that. So I prepped her face with the Pond's moisturizer again. I went in with the NYX pore filler around her face, and then I'm going in with the Magnesia in her T-zone area, basically, and a little bit on her cheeks and her chin, whatever I noticed to be her oily parts. Then mixing the foundation Igucau and Mami from the NARS Natural Radiant collection. I kind of went a bit darker today. I wanted to see how it looks, and yeah, I think I like that at the end, honestly. So yeah, that's why she looks a bit darker than how she looked in her other video, or the foundation looks a bit darker than how it looked in the other video that she was featured in. And then blending this out in patting motions with the Real Techniques Instapop cheek brush. Make sure I'm patting all that out, blending all that out. Please blend, please, please, please blend. I'm not even gonna there's nothing else for me to say but just blend, honestly. So yeah, that's just one thing. Blend and take your time to blend. If it's not blending or if the product is not moving, do what I always do and just spray the face with the continuous mist from Morphe and blend. That will loosen it up and make it a bit more watery for you to blend easier, and everything will just move in the places that you want to move, if that makes sense. Concealing with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in Rich that we used earlier to conceal the top of her brows. I'm going in and placing that on all her conceal worthy areas, which is the bottom of her eyes, the bottom of her nose, her chin, and her forehead. And to loosen it up, as I said earlier, I'm just spraying the continuous mist. This is just the pink packaging, and blending the edges out first with the same brush we used to apply foundation, the Instapop cheek brush, and afterwards going in with the setting brush for the actual concealed part. So I'm going around the edges, blending it out, and then as it's drying by itself, this works this technique works like butter, honestly. You see how I blended the edges out first, and I don't have to worry about dragging the concealer down to that part because it's already blended. That really makes a difference. I used to do this whole other technique where I would, go in with the setting brush first, or go in with this brush I'm using right now first, and I would realize that it just drags the concealer. I don't like that. So one day I just decided to use it on the edges, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm never going back, and I'm just telling everybody I know about it because this is a game changer. To highlight today, we're going to use the deep honey color we used to conceal the bottom of her eyebrows today. And this is really being focused on the center part, or the inner part of her under eyes. And this is the product I really used to carve out her nose. So as you can see, I brought the highlight a little bit closer to her nose to sculpt it out. I'm patting this out with a setting brush, yes. Right now I'm setting all the concealed areas with the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Dark Deepest. Underneath her eye, her nose, her chin, under her nose, and her forehead. You have to make sure you do this step if you don't want flashback. You can't really just go in directly with setting powder after your wet concealer, because some way somehow your concealer is still wet even when you blend it out, so don't do that. Setting and baking underneath her eye with the Laura Mercier. As you can see, I always go in with a thin layer first, then I actually bake. Baking is the part where you actually see the powder, where you guys actually see the powder. Setting is basically, you saw how I was applying the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish and you didn't really see the product. That's basically setting. Okay, so I'm contouring with the Black Radiance Dark to Deep palette, the powder contour palette, in the first two shades with my e.l.f. This brush will be down below. I found out exactly what it was. I just can't remember right now, but I know exactly what this brush is, so look down in the description box below. Please, I'm so sorry. The next video, I'll make sure I say it out loud because right now I really cannot remember. But to give her the further snatch contour look, I take my setting powder and set right below the contour with the Laura Mercier, applying that with the setting brush. For bronzer today, I'm going to go ahead and use Fenty and Mocha Mami to give her a bit more redness, a little bit more life in her face. And yeah, that's basically what bronzer does, honestly. So that's really the active bronzer. If you guys don't know the difference between contour and bronzer, that's just the difference. For blush, I'm going in with the JUVIA'S Warrior 2 palette I use all the time in Zama and Jamata. You already know the deal. I'm just applying this on the apples of her cheek. Just like so. Sometimes I ask her to smile, but right now I've used her face so much where I don't even need to tell her to smile. I already know where, to apply the blush. Applying the dual glue in the green packaging to prep for my glitter. While I wait for that to dry, I'm going to apply mascara, the Bad Girl Bang mascara I always use, and applying the glitter in Ice Me Out from Glow Up Academy, right underneath her eyes. Yes, period. And before you even apply lashes, I always go in with mascara. The Bad Girl Bang one is just like the whole design of the wand was just like perfect. I can't even describe it, honestly. Just get it, basically. They have smaller versions and they have the big version. So if you don't want to invest a lot, just get the small one. So right now I was trying to map out how I wanted to apply the rhinestones. So this is basically how I do it. As you saw me mapping out and using the rhinestones from the NYX collection I always use all the time. Check her out, definitely. Then I'm lining her lips with the Richie color from Morphe. Applying my unreleased gloss that be coming very soon, so yeah, you already know what's going on. And look at this color right here. Like, this looks so, oh my gosh, like, let's just take a moment of silence, because baby, look at, oh my god, what, are you dumb? Now I'm applying Dose of Colors Royal Hotness highlighter. I'm gonna put in the description box below what brush this is. I just realized I never really told you guys my highlighter brush. But yeah, it's actually very unique, so I'm actually gonna put that down there in the description box. Once I put that down in the description box, I'm gonna make sure I know for sure what it is so I can just say it in my next video instead of just putting it in the description box. Adding that pop of white we talked about earlier back into her eyes. Remember, we kind of lost it with the foundation and powder process and everything like that. It's okay. Just reapply that and the white gold. But yes, this is the completed look. Like, it's giving runway. Like, oh my god, that's what it's giving. It's giving runway. It's giving runway. Put in the description box what it's giving, because I think I'm just like, I don't know, I'm just jumbling on my terms, but it's giving what it's supposed to give. If you love this video as much as I did, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, please comment and let me know what you guys want to see more of. I'm more than happy to, I read all the comments actually, and I'm more than happy to give you guys what you want. But yes, thank you so much for joining the fam, and yeah, I will see you guys soon.